All right, let's jump right in. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer as we gear up for the Route 66 Triathlon Festival at Lake Arcadia. Today, we are diving deep into what is, hands down, the most dynamic, fast-paced, and crucial area of the entire race, the transition zone. If you're volunteering in transition, you are the essential guardians of this race. I mean it. You're the heartbeat that keeps everything flowing safely and fairly. So let's dive into this and get you fully prepped for race day. Now, the official event guide spells your primary directive out super clearly. It says, these bikes are very expensive and need to be always secure. And honestly, that's putting it mildly. Some of these bikes literally cost more than a used car. So as a transition volunteer, you carry a massive responsibility. You're not just pointing people in the right direction, you are actively protecting thousands of dollars of personal equipment per athlete, all while ensuring a safe, fair race environment. It's a big job for sure. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down so you feel completely confident out there. Okay, so let's clearly define what this area actually is. The transition area is a highly secure, enclosed, athletes-only zone where bicycles and race gear are stored between the swim, the bike, and the run segments. The absolutely crucial words here are highly secure and athletes only. Your top priorities for the entire day are security and restricting access. Think of yourselves as the bouncers for a very exclusive club. If they aren't racing or they aren't official staff, they don't get in. Period. Here's a quick roadmap for our training today. We'll be walking through 1. The transition hub, 2. Securing bike check-in, 3. Marking and prep rules, 4. Managing race flow, 5. The mount and dismount line, and finally, 6. Safe bike checkout. Let's get moving. Section 1. The transition hub, mapping the zone. So looking at the layout of Edmund Park Beach, the transition area is highlighted right there in green and it is centrally located. It sits perfectly between the staging area at Osage Pavilion, the medical and restroom facilities, and the finish line. You are literally right in the belly of the beast. The central hub location means you're going to have athletes and spectators buzzing all around your perimeter, which is exactly why managing those entry and exit points is so vitally important. Let's zoom in a bit on the actual flow of the footprint. This map shows the specific pathways our athletes will be using. You see that yellow arrow? That points to the swim exit. Athletes will come up from the beach and enter transition from the east side. The purple arrows show the west side, which is strictly for bike out and bike in. And finally, the red arrow shows the run out, which heads straight south. Visualizing these paths right now will really help you anticipate exactly where those crowds of athletes are going to be coming from and going to at different stages of the race.
Section 2. Securing bike check-in. Morning protocols.
Race morning is electric, right? But it can also be total chaos. Your job is to bring order to that chaos. So here are your fundamental security rules. First, transition is an enclosed area, and we funnel all access through a single entry and exit point before the race starts, just to keep tight control on the flow. Second, and I really can't emphasize this enough, strictly athletes only. No family members, no spouses carrying gear, no cheering spectators allowed inside. 0 exceptions. Finally, as athletes find their spots, remind them it's open racking with a maximum of 6 bikes allowed per rack. Now, before an athlete even sets one toe inside the transition area on race morning, they have to meet 3 non-negotiable requirements. Like I said, you're the bouncer. Number 1, they must show you their applied race number stickers. Number 2, they need to have their timing chips securely fastened specifically to their left ankle. And number 3, they have to physically show you proof of their helmet. If they're missing any of these 3 things, just politely ask them to step aside and grab them before entering. We also have a very specific timeline for morning entry. TRI-OKC members actually get priority entries starting right at 6 a.m. You can easily spot them because they'll have orange circle stickers on their gear. Keep an eye out for those orange circles. Then, 10 minutes later at 6:10 a.m., general entry opens up for the rest of the field. And remember, at exactly 7 a.m., the transition area completely closes so we can prep for the race start. So imagine you're checking people in, the line is moving great, and suddenly someone runs up with a flat tire. Or maybe they show up totally panicked because they're running super late. What exactly do you do? Well, here is your exact action plan for those curveballs. If an athlete has a mechanical issue, immediately direct them to the bike support tent, which is located on the north side of transition. If an athlete is late and showing up right at that 7 a.m. closure mark, direct them straight to the transition director for special consideration. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you, as a volunteer, do not perform mechanical checks and you do not make policy exceptions. Just keep the line moving, keep the area secure, and delegate those exceptions to the right personnel. Section 3. Marking and prep rules. Getting athletes race ready. Body marking is a huge triathlon tradition, and it's absolutely vital for identifying athletes out on the course and in transition. You'll be using permanent markers to write the athlete's bib number vertically in two specific places, their left upper arm and their left calf. That is it, left arm, left calf. Now, if an athlete comes up to you wearing long sleeves or long pants, do not mark their clothing, and honestly, absolutely do not ask them to remove their clothing. Just mark whatever skin is available according to the rules and keep that line moving. Section 4. Managing race flow. Directing the chaos. Once the race is actually underway, your role shifts. You essentially become traffic controllers. As we saw on the map earlier, athletes exiting the swim will enter transition from the east side. After they shed their swim gear, they'll grab their bikes and head to the west side for bike out, and they will return to that exact same west side for bike in. But I want you to really look at the bottom row of this table. This right here is the golden rule of triathlon safety, the helmet rule. An athlete's helmet must be on their head and securely clipped before their hands ever even touch their bike on the rack. If you see someone grabbing their bike without a clipped helmet, you need to loudly but firmly tell them to stop and clip that helmet. Section 5. The mount and dismount line. The boundary of safety. Now, you might be wondering about this, and it's actually one of the most common places for penalties and safety hazards in the entire sport. Athletes are rushing out of transition, their adrenaline is absolutely pumping, and they just want to get riding. So when do they actually get to hop on the saddle? The answer is they absolutely must not mount their bike until they have completely crossed the mount line. And the same goes for coming back. They must dismount before crossing it. This boundary is set up just outside the transition exit. We mark it clearly with brightly colored tape right on the ground and two large cones. If this is your assigned position, you'll be wearing a high visibility vest and holding flags. Your job here, be vocal, yell, keep moving, mount past the line. Be loud, be crystal clear, and definitely keep a safe distance from those rushing bikes. Section 6. Safe bike checkout. Securing the exit. This phase of the day requires just as much vigilance as the morning check-in. The security rules definitely do not disappear just because the athletes are tired. First, we still funnel all athletes through one designated exit point. Second, the area is still strictly athletes only. No friends coming in to help them carry gear. Third, as an athlete tries to leave the bike, you must visually and verbally match the number on their body bib to the number stickered on the bicycle. Do not let a single bike leave that transition area without confirming a perfect match. And this brings us to what is often the most contentious part of a transition volunteer's day. Athletes who finish the sprint distance or the aquathlon early are going to want to pack up and leave immediately. But we have a strict rule. Bicycles cannot be claimed while the bike course is still active. Opening transition while cyclists are still racing through causes severe congestion and is incredibly unsafe, not to mention unfair to those still out there competing. You have to hold the line here. Politely but firmly inform them that transition is closed for safety. Now, there is a chain of command to help alleviate this pressure. The transition director or the race director, and I mean only those directors, can authorize what we call a soft opening. If a soft opening is declared, it means you can allow just one or two finished athletes in at a time to quietly and quickly grab their bikes. This minimizes any disruption to the active racers. But remember, this is not a call you make on your own. Rely on your directors to make that call. Well, we've covered the layout, the strict check-in protocols, the sheer chaos of race flow, and the high security checkout. Like I said at the start, you are the gatekeepers. Your vigilance is literally the only thing standing between a fair, safe race and total chaos. When exhaustion sets in and those impatient athletes start pushing back, will you hold the line to protect the integrity of the Route 66 triathlon? I know you will. Thank you so much for stepping up, and we'll see you out there on race day.